Hey everybody, welcome back to Skinner Works Oz. Today on the bench we have a Stihl 360 Pro. See if I can show you the 360 Pro. My camera's reversed, so that may be backwards. Yeah, it's a 360 Pro. Doesn't run, and the reason it doesn't run, I'll show it to you. It's the piston, if you can see that. I don't know if you can. Let me get a better view of it right there. I don't know if you can see that. The piston is severely scored, has extremely low compression, and it won't run at all. I put a new carb kit in it for the guy. He said it ran, so I was like, okay, cool. Put a new carb kit in it, and then noticed it wouldn't start. It pulled over extremely easy. And I was like, that's not right. So I pulled the muffler. Should have pulled the muffler at first. I didn't, and noticed that it was extremely scored up. So I talked to the guy, kind of told him his options. We decided to go with a full rebuild, and I am going to split the case and put new crank bearings in, because it is such a it's an older saw. It's not the oldest one out there, but it's getting up there in years, and it's a farm and ranch style saw. He's a sheep herder, so it's just farm ranch, gets used and abused. Don't know the condition of the bearings, so I figured while I have it, and I'll be into it anyway, it's a little more work to split it, but it's not the end of the world. So I thought I'd just go ahead and get that done. So that's what I'm doing today. I've got all the plastics tore off of it, the cover, the top cover, right, or the recoil cover, the top cover, the back housing, the air filter, all that, and the muffler. I've got that pulled too. So I should have started this video before you can see how dirty it is. It's going to take a little bit of cleaning as well. Should have waited to start that before should have waited to start the video before I started the breakdown, but I figured, it's a couple of Torx screws. People know how to pull covers off. So from here on, I will try and do my best to video the entire process of tearing it down, splitting the case, and then reassembling it all. No promises, because I'm still learning this YouTube thing, and I don't have a stand for my phone. It is currently just propped up. So I will do my best, and hopefully video turns out. So with that being said, we will go ahead and continue tearing this down. Okay, so in no particular order, I'm just getting it completely disassembled. I'm going to go ahead and pull the cylinder just so you guys can see what I'm working with, and then we will proceed with tearing the rest of the assembly off. And it's going to have to be completely disassembled. You know, flywheel, rear handle's got to come all the way off, everything. So video might be a little longer, but I promise I'll do my best to make it informative. Right now I'm just popping these 4 head bolts, cylinder bolts, whatever you want to call them. It does, when you're splitting the case, it does take a few specialty tools. Not real like specialty, but you do need a few certain tools to do a few things. You need a case splitter. You need to buy one or build one. They're pretty simple. I'll show you mine. I bought one on Amazon, but I mean, you could build one if you have the metal. I didn't want to go buy the metal because it was going to be the same price or more to build it versus just buy it on Amazon. So with that being said, I gotta pull the carburetor real fast. Rookie mistake. I forgot about the intake boot. So, pull the intake, all that. These two little bolts hold the carburetor seated. They're just 8 millimeters. Another big thing, I am going to do this all in one day because my mind operates better that way and I can remember what bolts go what. Because if you don't, you're going to have to remember what bolts and nuts go where. And the longer it sits, the longer you're going, or the more you're going to forget. So keep track of what bolts go what bolts go where, I guess I should say. There is a little head that holds. Learning curve for me, this 360s, you got to pull the part of the handle assembly, the little top piece right here with the safety dead man switch, I guess you call it. You got to pull that out to get the, maybe you don't, I don't know. I do. I pull it to get it all apart. So there's that. Keep track of that little screw that holds that in. Take this apart. Pull your choke. Don't lose anything like that. If you can, try and remember what orientation they go. That's another thing I try and do to get it done in one day so I don't forget which orientation things go. Pop your fuel line. There's your carburetor. And what I'm doing, so if you can't see, there was 2 bolts sitting right here, and then this assembly right here that I'm gonna take that apart. I pulled the screw right here, black piece came off, and that had the throttle linkage. And then I pulled the choke linkage right here, pulled that off. Obviously pulled the fuel line off of the carburetor. Make sure you get this thing. This is a little keeper for your carburetor. Not a keeper for your carburetor, keeper for your intake, so it doesn't collapse. Keeps things tight. And then be careful not to rip anything, but you are going to, in fact, I'm going to come in from the top right here and loosen the band that holds the intake boot onto the cylinder itself. And I'm just going to loosen. Everything's got to come off anyway because I am doing a full split, so not a big deal if I take something off. If you're just doing a cylinder, you could probably get away with just popping this band off and working it off, but I'm going to pop everything off, so it's not the end of the world if you take something off, especially if you're splitting the case. And if you are not splitting the case, try and keep the bottom end clean. Don't let anything fall into the bottom end. Where I am splitting the case, it's not that deep because everything's got to come apart, and I'll clean it anyway. So if something falls in the bottom end, I'm going to split it and clean it anyway. So not that deep. But if you were not splitting the case and you knew that it was just the cylinder, say it got ran with straight gas or something, like this right here. See, I've got it off. If you were just doing the cylinder, like if you knew that this got ran with straight gas and everything else was good, obviously keep the bottom end clean. Try to do your best. Air, brake cleaner, whatever you got, a rag, stuff a rag down in there. Don't let anything fall in there. I'm gonna clean it anyway. So I got the cylinder off. Get the other bolt, the other cylinder bolt right there. Okay. It's a little, it's pretty scored. Could actually probably try and no, it's pretty tore up. Sometimes you can save the cylinder. I got a Husky, I saved the cylinder like 4 times. I don't know. I sanded it down. Every time it blew up, I sanded it down. But I'm not gonna do that because I got a whole new rebuild kit for it, a whole new top end kit. I did go with highway this time. I gave the guy 3 choices: decent, better, and best. Decent is whatever brand is cheapest. Highway is what I would consider middle. It's a middle price, middle quality. Still will run, it still will cut. Just kind of, and then Meteor. That's your top end. Your high end aftermarket parts. He went with highway. It's about $50 cheaper for the highway kit versus the Meteor kit. And he's like, let's do middle. So we got a highway top end kit and then highway bearings and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead, pause the video. Actually, yeah, I'll pause the video, get the piston off, scrape some of this gunk just so it's not in my way, clean some of the oily, sawdusty, grime junk off of here, and I'll bring you back when I am ready to continue breaking a few things down. Okay, so what I've done so far is I've taken off the wrap handle. That is just 2 bolts here, and I put them back just so I don't some things, if I can put them back and not have them in my way or mess me up, I'll put it back just so I don't lose them. And then 2 bolts right here on the bottom. That is all the wrap handle was. Now I'm working on getting the clutch brake assembly off so I can take the clutch brake handle off. And that is just, I need to get a stand, I'm sorry. And that is just a bolt here, a bolt here, a bolt here. This plastic assembly will come off, and then I'll show you how to take the brake handle off. It's kind of a pain because there's a big ass spring in there. Not the end of the world. It's not that bad. Just kind of sucks, but it's all right. So we'll go ahead and pop this off. I was gonna wait and do this with one of my friends. It's actually his uncle that owns this saw. He wanted to learn how to split. My buddy wanted to learn how to split a case and do this, but he just bought a house, so he's kind of preoccupied with moving and getting things set up in his house. Didn't necessarily have time to monkey with saws. So I said, all right, I'll just get it done. Like, there will be other saws to rebuild. It's not a one-time thing. So, yeah, it's actually his uncle that owns this saw. Oh, fuck. But I'm not missing anything, am I? And when I get done with this today, this rebuild today, maybe tomorrow, well, I'm going to get done today, but either tonight or tomorrow, just kidding. I don't have the saw with me. I have a 440 Chinese clone saw that I need to pull the clutch band off of and give to my other friend. It's actually, so the kid that wanted to learn how to rebuild these things, him and his brother, I've been helping them. I grew up with them, childhood friends. So right here, I just pulled off the clutch drum assembly, kind of help clear a few things out for that. But I was going to pull off the clutch band assembly off of a clone 440 because I see what's going on here. That's dumb. There we go. So this is just the cover for the chain brake assembly. I'm going to put these screws back in because it's not going to affect my work. And I'm just going to put them in a little bit so I don't lose them. But no, so my two buddies, one is my same age, bought a 391, and he bought it used, and the chain brake band was broke. So I said I have a clone saw that if it'll fit, we will put it on. I don't know. I don't know if the parts cross like that, but I was gonna do that, but I don't have the saw here. It's over at my in-laws. I'm in the process of moving, so some of my stuff is already moved over, stored at my in-laws' house. Some of my stuff is here, so I'm not gonna do that today. My bad. So let's see here. I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm gonna pull the rear handle assembly off first before I take this off, because this piece right here, this little plastic thing where the wrap handle goes in, it's kind of in my way. So I am going to pull the rear handle assembly off, and that is relatively simple because there's a plastic cover here that holds a bolt with an anti-vibe rubber boot. There's a plastic cover here that holds the bolt, and then I think that's, oh, she leaks the fuel. Where's it leaking from? I got leaky fuel. Not a big deal. I'll figure it out. So yeah, I'm gonna pull these bands off real fast. I'd like to figure out where it's leaking from so I can stop it. It'll make a mess anyway. Whatever. It's a little chainsaw. You're gonna have a mess no matter what. So there's one boot. You just pry it off with the flathead. Take the other one off. This one has a little screw on it because it looks like it held a chain catcher. Chain catcher's not there. Looks like it was thrown one too many times and broke it. But I gotta pull that off. So there's the chain catcher. It's broke. It's gone. I'm gonna keep it and put it back in just for when it's done. It's back to the guy. Even though it is broke. Things are messy. It's a cold. We had a storm. It's kind of still coming in. It's gonna be here for a few days, I think. It's supposed to clear up like Friday or Saturday. So And I'm on some leave from work, so I figured I'd get this done. So I'm not, the guy can get his saw back. I was gonna wait, but not gonna happen. So I gotta figure that out. Okay, I'm gonna pause you, figure a few things out. I'll get you back. Sorry, I'm not very good at this. Trying to learn how to do saw work and not waste your guys' time. So I'll get you back. Okay, got the rear handle off. There was a mounting bolt that I forgot about. I was wondering where it was. It was covered in grease. I didn't see the cap. Same thing. Had a little white cap I had to pop off. It was, so the flywheel side, it was right here. So the tank sits like this. I popped those two off. Had to pop that one off right there. Undo them. Tank came off. Pull your impulse line off the case and then pull your wires off so the tank rear handle assembly comes off. I will clean this, get it all not disgusting, but for now I'm gonna set this off to the side. I'm gonna set that over here. I've got a little Mr. Buddy heater because it's cold. My shop is not heated and it's cedar post. This side's chinked, this side is not. So I got a little propane buddy heater. Don't like to put my leaky fuel substances next to that, so I've just moved it. Okay, we are down to the case. Now, I got everything off out of the way and off. I'm going to go ahead and pull the chain brake assembly off. It is a beast. I'm going to try and do it without losing anything or pinching myself or getting hurt or doing anything like that. So I figured out a good way to put these on. I don't have a good way to take these off. So you can see there's this big ass spring right here that actuates that. So what I got to do is take this off so I can get the handle out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that so I'm not struggling on camera, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, I'm back. I got the chain brake off, and what I did is there is a little E-clip. I don't know if you can see that very well. There's an E-clip that holds the assembly onto this post right here. Pop that E-clip off and just kind of worked it off and got some tension off of it. Everything just came off. Handle came off. I pulled the magneto off as well. That's just 2 bolts, and then push everything through this little hole right here on the case. This little rubber grommet hole. Push the 2 wires off, and the magneto comes off. Clean that as well when I get ready to assemble it. So now I'm to the point that I'm going to pull the clutch off, and then I will pull the flywheel off. That is where the flywheel is where you have to have the special tool. So normally, you know, you have to have a piston stop to pull everything off because it'll just spin. I don't have a piston stop because my piston's not on there, or my cylinder's not on there to stop the piston. And because I'm doing a full rebuild, the piston itself is shot. I don't care if it gets damaged. So what I'm going to do is put this screwdriver right here, and I'm going to prop it on the piston, not on the crank, on the connecting rod. The plastic handle of the screwdriver is sitting on the flywheel, but plastic is weaker than metal, so If something breaks, it'll break my screwdriver handle, not the flywheel. And then I'm going to take this scrunch here, and I'm going to spin this around to where I can get the piston set so I can stop it right there. What you got to do is put everything on a bind, and then it'll just pop, except slip the bind. So I'm going to do that. So I'll get the piston pulled off, or I'll get the clutch pulled off real fast, and then I will show you the flywheel puller right here, this little tool. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done. Again, my apologies. I'm not real good at getting stuff done while on camera because I feel like I'm wasting your guys' time. So I'm trying to show you and yet explain to you. I'll get better at this. I'm sorry, I'm new to this video stuff. So I'll go ahead and get this done real fast and bring you back. Okay, I should note before I proceed, the clutch is reverse thread. It's left-hand thread, so righty loosey, lefty tighty, if that makes sense. So what I did is I ended up putting the cylinder back on because I needed to stop. Excuse me. Piston back on, shoved some rope down in the cylinder as a piston stop, and then spun it and was able to break it loose. And I have got that loose, so I'll go ahead and spin the clutch off, pull this little washer thing off, pull the oil worm gear assembly off, and that's that. We'll take the oil pump off in a minute. But while I got the cylinder on and everything, I'm going to go ahead and pull the flywheel. There's a little nut right here. Pull that off. Now, this is where the special tool comes in. Flywheel puller. What it does is this threads in, and then you tighten that down and it pushes it and pulls it out. So we will go ahead and do so. Back that out, thread that on, like so. Then tighten that down. And it happens to be a 3/4 inch or 19 millimeter if you want to use your scrunch. It'll fit scrunch too. In fact, I'm going to use that. So, and it's going to pop here in a minute. Boom! Just like that. And all that did was this outer piece screwed into the flywheel, and then this thing right here, the inner piece, pushed against the crankshaft. Now, before we get too in depth and we forget about it, we can go ahead and put this special flywheel tool away because we're done with it. We got to make sure we get the Woodruff key and we don't lose it, because if you lose that, you're screwed. And it's tiny. Don't lose that, or else you're done for a while. So just set that there. Make sure your flywheel doesn't get bumped and you lose it. Now, we can go ahead and pull off our cylinder again. guess I should have pulled those off when I had the cylinder on. Last one I did, I was able to get the piston off a little easier than what this one is. This one's kind of got a problem. I can't get the wrist pin shaft out. So otherwise I would have just stuffed a screwdriver or something in the connecting rod and done that. Not necessarily the best way to do it. This is the proper way. Last time I did that, I did it on a clone saw that was blown up and I was putting a new crankshaft in it, so I didn't care. So this is actually the proper way to do it. Put a stop in it. Dig your stop out. There's my rope. Don't lose your cylinder bolts like that. Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. Okay. While we're here, we're gonna go ahead and disassemble the oil pump so it's out of the way. And it's just 2 bolts. I really need to get a stand. If anybody has recommendations for a good iPhone stand, because that's what I film on, let me know. Because I need a stand so you guys can see a little better. Now, it looks like his oil line's a little funky. It's definitely stiff. Doesn't want to come out. I might have to go get a new see if the shop here in town has a new oil fill line for this saw or something that would work, because it's pretty shot. Yeah, it's pretty rough. So I might have to go down to the shop here in town and see if they got one. What I did is I just pushed it out. You can see it's all busted up right there and exposed. If it'll focus. Not on my hand. Anyway, I might have to go see. But the oil pump is just two little bolts. Now, before we get too in depth, I'm going to go drain the oil and flush it out so when I pop the case, it doesn't make a huge mess. So that's where I'll be. And then the next step is to pop the case bolts. Looks like there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 or 5. Might be one right there. 4 or 5. But I'll go get the oil reservoir, the oil tank cleaned out and flushed so it doesn't make a huge mess. Okay, welcome back. Got the oil reservoir. It's cold outside, by the way. It's starting to snow a little bit. So it's a good day to be in the shop. Got the oil reservoir drained and flushed with a little bit of gas. Ended up getting the piston off. It was tight. It's a little hot. The wrist pin rod, it wouldn't come out. I ended up having to give it a little bit of heat on the piston. I'm replacing the piston, so I didn't really care. Get a little bit of heat and then just beat on it for a minute because it wouldn't come out. It was tight. So I ended up getting it out. So now we have everything off. Everything out of the way in here. Everything over here is off. We can go ahead and pull the case bolts. I did get one of them off. already. It was right here. It was all nasty, gummed up with junk, so I ended up cleaning it out. The other ones are, from what I can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Thought there was 5. 2, 3, 5. Yep. So there's 1, 2, and then 3, 4 right here where my finger is, 4, and then 5 right here. Sorry, my video sucks. Is what it is. Well, I'll go ahead and pull those out real fast, and we'll throw the splitter, the split tool, on here and get them, and we'll split the case. This morning, when I started this project, I put the bearings in the freezer, cool them down. Ideally, if I was replacing the crank, I would have put the crank in the freezer too, but I'm not replacing the crank. It looks good. I didn't buy one, so hopefully it's good. No, it's good. It feels good. It looks good. Nothing looks bad on it. So we'll get the case split real fast. 2, 3, 4, and then see if I can shake that one out. 5. Okay, that should be all of them. There is none on this flywheel side, which is good, I don't think. Nope. That goes through, that goes through, that goes through. Yeah, 5. Okay. This is the splitter tool I was talking about. Hopefully it'll fit, to be honest with you. It might. Yeah. Put it on the, put it right here. Ooh, it'll be, oh, there we go. Okay. And what happens is these 2 prongs go between the crankshaft, and then this, same thing as the flywheel puller, pushes against the crankshaft. Hold on, I got a phone call. Sorry about that, my wife called me. Anyway, same thing, slips in here between the crank like that, and then this goes against the crankshaft, and it just kind of have to just start twisting, and it'll pop if everything's loose. Like that. That scared me. Whoops. Trying to get it to pop. Everything's popping except for one spot right here on the front. So I'm gonna loosen the tension and make sure I'm not missing a bolt. And yeah, get back with you, sorry. Okay, that piece was just kind of stuck. I ended up just sticking a scrunch in there and wiggling it. It did come out. So everything is gapped. Nothing is holding itself on. I'll just keep wiggling it like that. See, it's coming out. And there we are. There's 1/2. go ahead and pull the crankshaft out, because I gotta do bearings, so I'm gonna pull the crankshaft all the way out. So same thing on the other side. Puller goes in. Puller goes in, and you just twist it, pushes the crankshaft out. Just like that. Now, let me set that to the side. There's your crank, 2 halves. Okay, I'm going to pause you again, sorry, and I'm going to go ahead and clean all this crap up with some brake clean, paper towels, compressed air, get it all nice and shiny and clean, and then we'll go get the cold bearings, set the bearings in, and start the reassembly with everything. Just to show you what I got going on here, I got all this stuff sitting right here. It's kind of a mess, everything. So my workbench isn't not very big, so I kind of got everything kind of placed in certain piles, so I know what's what. But I'm gonna go ahead, clean all this crap up, get it all nice and shiny, and just get back with you on the reassembly. Okay, I'm back. I went and got some lunch, cleaned all the junk off of the 2 halves. I ended up pushing the bearings, seals, and crank and putting it back together without you here with me today, because you have to do it kind of quick. You got to freeze the bearings, get them cold so they kind of contract, and then you got to heat up the 2 case halves and then kind of press them together real fast. So I did that just fast. I'll kind of walk you through it though. So you got the 2 halves, right? And you heat up the 2 halves, and you heat up 1/2 at a time, and you got a cold bearing, and I put a little oil on it, and I just pressed them in there. And I did the same thing on the other side. Just heated up the other side, had that cold bearing, little 2-stroke oil. I use 2-stroke oil. I've got some stuff I found. This is my assembly lube. I don't burn it, I don't run it. This is just my assembly lube. So you just take a top full, dip your finger in it, rub on the bearing, push them in, let everything equal out temperature. And then for the crank, you got to do the same thing. You got to heat the bearing. And I stuck the crank in the freezer while I went and ate lunch and cleaned this. And then, so that way it wasn't quite froze, but it was cold. Pulled it out, and there was frost on the metal, so it was cold. And then you heat it up the other side. You heat up the bearing, press it in, and then you put this is the old one, but you put the gasket on the halves, and then you heat up the other bearing, and you push them together. There's 2 locator pins. Gotta make sure those go in the holes, and then you just squeeze them together, tighten everything down, blue Loctite, the 5 bolts that I had to pull out. So this is the old one. And then for the seals, I lube up the outside of the seals, same as I do the other ones. Lube them up, push them in. This one got sunk a little too far, the PTO side. I guess you call it the PTO side. I call it the PTO side. The clutch side it got pushed in a little too far, so that's why I went ahead and pushed this on and wanted to check my vacuum before I go ahead and assemble the rest of it to make sure it's done. So I'm gonna go find I gotta find some stuff to block off the intake and the exhaust right here. I gotta find those 2 things. And then I got the spark plug in just so I can check it. So I'll go track down 2 things. So the piston and everything is in. When you're doing the piston, this is the old one, but the new one will have a arrow on the exhaust side. You got to make sure that is the exhaust. Don't flip it, or else you'll snag rings, because the piston keeper pins are on the intake side, because it never clears the port. It's the bottom of the piston that clears the port. So you got to make sure the arrow on the piston is towards the exhaust. And then I got these compressor tools. You just put those on, squeeze the piston rings down, slide the cylinder on. Again, use assembly lube. Use 2-stroke oil. Just smear on the inside of the cylinder. When you're doing the wrist pin or wrist pin bearing, lube everything up. Lube the bearing up. Put it in the connecting rod. And then your wrist pin. Lube it up. Push it in the piston. This one's shot because it was hot. It got hot. That's what blew this saw, was it got hot. So everything doesn't fit anymore. I had to beat this one out. But assembly lube, push it all together. Once your piston's in and your piston circlips, your E-clips, whatever you want to call them, are on, compress your piston rings, push the cylinder down, bolt it down. So I'm gonna go find some stuff. Check my vacuum real fast to make sure this bearing is good. Like I said, it got pushed in a little too far on one side. Not a big deal. I think it'll hold. It's not too bad, and everything looks like it's just sitting evenly, but I still want to check it. And then I'm gonna pull the cylinder bolts, the four that hold it down. I'm gonna pull those out and Loctite them. I just had to cinch them down so I can go check my vacuum. So I'm gonna go do that, but I just kind of want to walk you through what I did. Sorry you weren't here for that, but I wanted to get it done quickly, so that is why I just went ahead and did it. But bearings, crank, seals, push together. So I'm gonna go check that and get back with you. Okay, so earlier in this video when I said half my stuff is already moved over, half my stuff is here, my vacuum tester, my vacuum gauge is moved over. I don't have it. So I'm gonna go ahead and break every rule that I know, and I'm gonna gamble, and I'm gonna put it back together. You can replace your seals without tearing your saw apart. I mean, you'll have to tear all the stuff off, but you can replace the seals without splitting the case. So if it's bad, I'm gonna have to tear it apart to put a new oil pump line anyway, because he is gonna need a new oil line. So I'll just tear apart and put new seals in. So I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble this saw. A disclaimer, if you have your stuff and you're not like me and don't have your shit, test it, because that way you know it's done. I don't have my stuff. It's an hour away, and I want to get this done and kind of want to just make sure I did it right, you know. Well, not right, because this not testing it is not right, but I just want to put it back together and see if it'll run, and if it will, then that's the first big step. So I'll test it later. If it's got problems, I'll just fix it, because I do warranty my stuff for a while. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the assembly process. So we will go ahead on the flywheel side first. Like I said, there's the Woodruff key, the little nut. So install the Woodruff key, get that set. Okay, get that set, and then on the flywheel there is a notch right there on the top. That's for your Woodruff key. So go ahead and slide that onto your crank with the Woodruff key, you know, there. I need some light, sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the spark plug and stick my string back down in there, wherever it went. Oh, right there. Stick my string back down inside the cylinder. Something about right there. Stuff a bunch of this in here. So I do want to emphasize, test your stuff. Because without it, I mean, you could do a full rebuild, and if you don't test it, it's going to blow up. Okay. Flywheel's on. Oh, we'll go ahead and clean the magneto. Okay, I'm back. I do want to emphasize, while you are tearing down a saw, go buy some brake cleaner. I use brake cleaner. You can do whatever you want, but go buy some stuff and make sure it's clean when you're putting it back together, because a clean saw is a cool saw, and I don't mean that like stylish. I mean like it runs cooler. And running cooler will cause it to not blow up, because I'm pretty sure that's what happened with this one. It was ran with a dull chain, which happens. It was ran with a dull chain. Saw was overworked. It was dirty, which saws get dirty. Like, yeah, you can clean them all you want, but some of the parts just get absolutely disgusting, and you can't really clean them without tearing it down like this. So, I mean, that part, it is what it is. So, yeah, clean your stuff. Go buy some brake clean, purple powered, simple green, whatever you want to use, and clean it, because that will extend the life of your saw, especially when you're tearing it down. Like, just clean all your crap. And you know, when you're doing your maintenance and you're get done cutting, tear it down a little bit, use some compressed air and blow it out. I don't tear, like when I'm done cutting for the day, like when I was doing production cutting for a while, you know, I'd come home and stick the nozzle in as much as I could and blow it all out and blow the fins out and everything. I wouldn't like take my flywheel cover off and all that, my pull rope assembly. I wouldn't take that off, but I would blow, you know, around it, blow my cylinder out, just trying to get all the junk out so it didn't build up. That'll help tremendously. But I'm also the type of guy that when I'm done cutting, some days I'm just tired and I'll just come home and put my saw away and do it later. Sometimes later doesn't happen. Sometimes I just go back to cutting and forget about it. Things happen. So we are going to take a business card. I don't have any, sorry, not business card, credit card. And the only ones I have are my good ones. dog's trying to let herself in the shed. Let's see here. Okay, that's it right there. That's the one I want. And that's about the appropriate gap. Seems to work for me. Business card works, credit card works. I know those are two different thicknesses, but those work. I might actually use a business card instead. Use a Texas Roadhouse gift certificate, gift card for a free appetizer. They like greasy things, don't they? There. Okay, magneto's on. We will go ahead with the PTO side. Now remember, a lot of what I do is just some dude in a non-insulated cedar post shed. I do not claim to be certified. I only claim to enjoy it and to try and do the best I can with what I got. And that means warranty my stuff, to try and make people happy. Yeah, I don't claim to be a certified Stihl or Husqvarna mechanic. I'm just a dude that watched a lot of what do you call it? Tin Man, Bucking, most of those two. I don't really like Iron Horse. I think he's dumb. And he can come at me for that. I don't care. But that's where I got the majority of my learning from, was those two guys. Mostly Tin Man, because Bucking, he does a lot of stuff. Bucking doesn't do a whole lot of rebuilding. Tin Man does. I like to watch Tin Man a lot, actually. So, before I set that, there's a little washer right there. thing go? Couldn't have gone too far. Oh, right there. I'm gonna pause you real fast. Sorry. Okay. Huge apologies. When I left off, I got in the groove and started slamming it back together. It's all just, you know, exterior parts, minus the oil assembly. I'm gonna get a new line right here. This one's all jacked up. I ended up just ordering a new seal. Saw runs. It doesn't idle very well, so when I spray brake cleaner on that seal, it dies. So I'm gonna play it safe and just get a new seal coming and pull the seal off, put it back on real fast. So my apologies. I did not turn the video back on when I was assembling the remainder of the saw, but here is the product minus PTO assembly. Chain brake is still off. Top cover needs to go back on. Rear cover will go back on. I did put the pull rope back on, but I did give it a tugsy just to make sure, because I got it as a non-running saw, so I wanted to make sure that it did run, even with my oil seal, or even with my seal mistake, possible mistake. I'm just gonna go ahead and get a new one, but it does run. So I got the choke. Then it dies. So I'll get a new seal, just play it safe, tune the carburetor, and yeah. So again, my huge apologies for not turning the video back on to let you guys finish watching me assemble this saw, but it does run. Runs actually pretty good, considering the seal might be jacked and it's not tuned. So that's good. At least it runs. That was the huge thing, because it didn't run when I got it. So I will go ahead and put the plastics back on, kind of move my remainder of my stuff off to the side, and thanks for joining me. Try and edit this video down so it's not so terribly long, but no promises. But yeah, thanks for joining me, and hope to get you guys, hopefully I will be able to figure out this YouTube thing and get some more videos going and not be so on and off with my videoing, and I can do it all at one time. But I'm learning, so thanks again for sticking around while I rebuilt this Stihl 360 Pro 360. So again, we will get another saw on the bench eventually, and we'll go from there. Thank you. Okay, so my huge apologies. This 360 that I'm rebuilding, this PTO side oil seal, I sunk too deep on accident, and I didn't want that, so I had to order another one. So my saw sat on my bench for probably a week while I ordered another one, and then it came in and I got off work and I was like, oh, you know, I'm gonna go hurry and get this done so I can take it back to the guy this weekend. Forgot to make the video of me assembling it back together. So in the video is on a different phone, and it's in my house. I just don't want to go get it and watch and see where I left off. But so sorry if I'm redundant. On the PTO side right here on the clutch side, I pulled this, and what I did is this hole right here, this bigger hole, I couldn't get it out, so I took a little drill bit, drilled this tiny hole. As soon as I broke through, I was done. And then I took just a standard sheetrock screw, sunk it in there, bit it just like that, grabbed a hold of some pliers and popped it out. Took the new one, sunk it right, sunk it level, It's all flush, everything seals up. No vacuum leaks, no nothing. So I reassembled everything, put the oil pump back in, put the clutch assembly, chain brake assembly back on, and then obviously the clutch and the clutch drum and all that. Put it back together. You guys know that. I'm not gonna redundant with that, but this was the main issue. I sunk this one too deep. It was lower than flush on the casing. So yeah, I got that done. Checked everything, fired it up, runs. I'm not gonna tack it right now because it's in the evening and I'm in a neighborhood and I don't wanna make my neighbors mad because these guys right here have kids and could be bedtime, I don't know. So when I take it up to them, I'll run out to the hills, find me a big juniper or a pinion and tack it out in the hills, do some test cuts and stuff with the guy. I'll probably just have him jump in the truck with me because we're buddies. It's my friend's uncle actually. So, and then threw the chain on my grinder, touched it up for him, adjusted the rakers, threw it all back together. So final video that didn't get the assembly finalized. I do want to show you the piston. I am going to give it back to him. Pretty tore up. I think what happened, turns out he runs pre-mixed like store-bought fuel. He doesn't run like mix your own pump gas. He just goes buys the little gallon or quart at the hardware store, runs that. So that could have been a factor. Chain was extremely dull. I'm sure that was a huge factor. The plastic thing that covers the chain brake assembly that goes around the clutch, that little cover, it's all burned and gross. So it's been definitely ran hard, ran dull, and ran hot. So hopefully I don't have this saw back on my bench anytime soon. I might, I don't know. But my apologies for not having a better video system. I'm still learning. I don't have all the right equipment. I do it off a phone. So, but yeah, I'll get this back to him and hopefully see you guys on the next one. I do have, let me show you this bad boy, 562. This will be probably my next video. I do have some other saws lined up, so this might not be the next, but this will be on here. This will be a full, I'm not gonna call it a rebuild because it's not gonna be a full rebuild. I'm gonna buy a complete crankcase assembly because this flywheel side's all jacked up and leaks and the saw doesn't idle. So I will buy one of those. Probably just buy an OEM piston and cylinder, get rid of the aftermarket junk that's in here, probably keep it just in case, but get rid of the aftermarket junk and then do a full swap of all the parts. So this will be on the channel. Honestly, it's the first time doing I've rebuilt the piston cylinder on here. I've replaced the piston cylinder a few times. But it'll be the first time doing everything on this saw. All I've done is pulled the piston cylinder off. So be a learning curve. But yeah, I'm gonna get the complete crankcase assembly and just put everything back onto it with a OEM piston cylinder and put this one back to work. So stay tuned for it. I do have a 550 lined up to come on my bench, hopefully sometime next week. A Husky 357, I believe, and a Husky 141, I believe. So I got 3 saws coming up. May make a video on those depending on what they need. The 550 just needs a tune-up, new filters, new spark plug, stuff like that. So I probably won't make a video on that. But the other two, the 357, and I believe it's a 141. probably get those on the channel coming up, so stay tuned. Working with you guys. Sorry, I fight fire, so summertime may not see a video come out very often, because I do fight fire for the Forest Service. And then rebuild saws. All these saws are privately owned. Just a disclaimer, all my saws are privately owned. I bought them from private parties. Just throwing that out there, in case anyone gets a little weird with my shirt. I fight fire, but everything is very separated. So summertime might get a little difficult. It's been very dry and very warm here. We had a very, very mild winter with hardly any snow. I think I scraped my driveway once. I did it in my house slippers. So might be a busy summer. Can't guarantee there will be a ton of videos coming out. I'm also trying to move from this house to a new house, so that'll be a little bit. So yeah, you may not see a video for a while, but hopefully I'll get these new 3 saws, the 550, the 357, and the 141 done before anything picks up, moving, fire season, whatnot. Hopefully I get this one done before that too, but no promises. So thank you for watching this video. It may have been a little rough for you guys. I'm sorry. Learning, but hopefully it was somewhat educational, or at least enjoyable. I don't know, or you just skipped it and said whatever. So learning, working on it. Stay tuned. Hopefully get some more saws, hopefully get some POV cutting action with a GoPro, hopefully get some time lapses, some dumping some trees, stuff like that. So yeah, big things to come in the next year. Can't promise when, but anyway, thanks for coming. I'll get the Husky out the way. Thanks for coming along with me on this full rebuild of the Stihl 360, and I hope to keep you guys around on the channel and hope to keep you interested and engaged, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.